Well, hello there, gamers. My name's Dante, and this is another super exciting race of the A Link to the Past Randomizer main tournament 2022. We've got NYRambler versus zelgadissan. This is their game 2 matchup of groups. I'm joined today by the one, the only Will WC. Will, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing fantastic. Glad to see you here. This is a matchup of the top two seeds here in Group AF. We have zelgadissan comes in at 1-1. He defeated Rambler in their first race earlier this week, but for race number 2, we have sanity tonight. So, very different mode from what they played in round 1, which was the map and compass boss shuffle. This time we're going to be doing full key sanity.
Well, kind of, but it is, the tournament keys. So if you're not familiar with how this works, tournament keys is a little different. Everything, keys, maps, compasses, they are all shuffled throughout the world. However, the Aga Tower or Castle Tower has both small keys in their vanilla location, and we can guarantee that the Ganon's Tower big key is going to be inside Ganon's Tower. So, those are some things to keep in mind. These runners should know that as we get started here. But yeah, we're getting a little bit of divergence here from the get-go. Rambler starting at the house and picking up a sword for his trouble.
Yeah, that's not bad. Zelga choosing to start up at Sanctuary here. I did not see what he got there. Got caught off guard by the start of this.
Well, we've got 4 hearts. I think that might be...
That's a clue. That's what they call a clue. Yeah, okay, great start.
That's that on-screen tracker. And speaking of tracking, Lady Laura Linda is doing the button clicking for us today. I want to say thank you for that, keeping us honest, because we would... I don't know about you, Will. I'd be totally lost without it.
Definitely. Get just a compass there in the Uncle check. And Small Magic is our tier 1 tree pull, which we saw from both runners now. That is a bow there in the woods, though.
Yeah, having a bow early is always, nice. Kind of makes Eastern easier. We have that big key still coming into play.
Yeah. Zelga gonna just save and quit there. I think he likes to come in from the south route here when he does not get bombs up there. And Rambler gonna take that sword and go immediately and get these 3 checks here and escape. One of the benefits of Uncle routing is that when you do get that weapon there in the first 3 checks, you can go just straight into escape. Especially in a keys mode, it's even more unlikely than usual that that's going to be something you end up skipping. So, getting this out of the way early for Rambler is going to be kind of a nice efficiency thing. Although, Zelga's going to have the same routing here when he gets up here later on.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you were saying, having the weapon makes it really nice just to knock out right at the start. You don't have to worry about like logical implications of, I don't have a Hyrule Castle small. Should I go to the castle? I mean, your opponent's probably going to do it pretty early as well, just to, cover all your bases.
Yep. And we saw a map there at the race game. Zelga's not going to pick that up right now, coming into town on only 1 bomb and 20 rupees. But we also saw a red boomerang at the library, which I would be very surprised if we end up actually picking up today.
Yeah, probably not going to be needing that. I mean, some people like having it, but not required.
Right. And first bit of map knowledge there for Zelga getting the map to Desert Palace. One of the things about this mode is that it is still 7 crystals to get into GT, 7 crystals to defeat Ganon. But you do not know, without getting those maps, or unless you beat the dungeon, what the crystal pendant layout is for those dungeons. So getting those maps is an excellent source of information to let you know what dungeons you have to clear and what might just be bait for you.
Yeah, it's always like really tough. If you get a bunch of keys, obviously the game might be pointing you to head to that dungeon, but it still might be a pendant. So we are doing the 7-7 requirement, 7 crystals to open GT, 7 crystals to beat Ganon. As we see, I believe that was a Swamp Palace small in the
Sure
chicken
was. And so
in the chicken hut.
That's one nice little hunt out of the way, especially if we have a required Swamp Palace later on. And even if you don't, you've still got 9 items behind that small key, so still a lot of value to getting that early.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of the swamp package, there's a hook shot, and we do see a TR small in that dark room on Rambler's side. Switching back to Zelga, we do have a Desert Palace big, so getting one of our potentially required big keys early. I guess this is where progression is. So both of our bows are now found, and we have a glove.
Okay, sure. That was a cack well that happened right there, and good luck to our tracker catching up with that. I do want to say Rambler did a really good job there. It's always kind of tricky when you go to Dark Cross there on 3-4 hearts and just a sword there early. And now we're going to see a Houlihan from him, it looks like, which is going to benefit him here, at least, for efficiency in Kakariko, with kind of the lack of money around. Speaking of efficiency in Kakariko, though, there's a Moon Pearl for Zelga, as well as, I believe that was a Desert Palace Small that we got from Blind Tut.
It was. We're getting really close to the full desert package. We got a few things we still need, but I saw a race the other day and we got a lot of desert stuff early. I'm gonna say it. There's something important in Desert Palace. Is too much ready for it this early. So I feel like we're gonna see a book or something soon.
Yeah, it sure feels like we're pointing at desert, and with those keys. Oh, and there's a flute there on Lake Hylia. So that's kind of interesting information there as well. We know that flute is behind Dark World access plus flippers and mirror. So, kind of interesting to think about, getting, we're talking about potential desert access. That could be an early book, or it could be, we get Dark World access and flippers and a mirror, and you're expected to just immediately, go get that flute and get into desert somehow.
Will, do you see what we just got on Zelga's side? We got a book, and I mean, how soon do you want to go? I mean, we got the care package, we just don't have the fire to get to the boss.
Yeah, at this point, you want to wait for fire. I mean, maybe you can kind of like hedge off of, there's an item there in the back of Saha on Rambler's side. We have the boots early. But I was going to say, you maybe hedge with kind of mini Moldworm, and if you don't get fire, you go to Ice Rod Cave, and if you do get it, you go west, and, there's options like that too.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of potential. Now Rambler able to move freely throughout the game in a more comfortable fashion. Going to be able to route in Bonk Rocks. We'll probably get this check, maybe get a peek inside of what's in the Lumberjack Cave, just a compass. But I guess, that'll be a nice on-screen way for us to track how many chests he's opened in Swamp Palace once we get there.
That's great, because counting is one of my many difficulties in life. Even more so when I'm actually playing the game. And having that counter has saved me before, I will say that much.
I think it's saved everybody, whether or not they'll admit it, at least once.
We will not be clearing Aga today, at least for the item at Lumberjack. It is just a piece of heart. But we could... It's not looking likely given the equipment we have so far, but we could still end up... going into Dark World through Aga at some point. Again, Dante pointed out earlier, the one kind of change in this mode, or one of the changes in this mode, rather, is that the 2 Castle Tower small keys are going to be in their vanilla locations inside Castle Tower. So whenever these runners gain the ability to do Aga, that is available to them to complete without having to search for those small keys.
Yeah, and that's like one of the biggest... I guess I don't want to use the word complaint. Like with them being vanilla like that, you don't have that clear indicator. Sometimes when you find them in the world, and it's just like, hey, you might want to go here because I'm giving you all these keys. So you just kind of have to know you always have them in your back pocket. It's just a matter of, are your items going to let you clear it?
Right. It's a lot more difficult to read the logic in this mode versus, you get 2 CT small keys and you get a sword and you get a cape and you get a lamp all in your first 40, 50 checks of the game. With this mode, you don't get those small keys for information. You kind of just have to suss it out or take a gamble, which once Rambler completes Kakariko here, he'll have that same sort of full Dark World access through Aga when that becomes available with the glove and hookshot.
And we do, like you were saying, we do have that glove and hook shot. That's very huge should we have to take that route. But, everyone loves a good old Agaseed, but we do need either a cape, a sword, and a lamp. So we do have a little bit of ways off for that. But Rambler over in Kakariko now, getting all of his goodies. We have a hook shot. We're going to get that Desert Palace big. He'll have his silvers here very, very shortly. And as well as his glove.
Yeah, and we're seeing Zelga get into Dark Cross room here after poking his way through a few through snakes there in the basement. And gets
so Will, I do understand. I do understand this. This race has some bearing for you as well. I believe as part of Group AF.
Yeah. So as a proud member of Group AF, this does have bearing on my interest as well. Zelga currently sits at 1-1 in the group. Rambler currently at 0-2. Brogor is at 1-0, and I am at 1-0. So still, a very, very open group here. Rambler very much interested in getting on the board for sure. But both of these guys are. Yeah, there's a
whole lot of tight competition going on in all the groups for that matter. But here's some new checks. Heart Piece bombs, $20 over in Mini Moldorm Cave. We do see a small key to TR and another small key popping up for the Tower of Hera. So always nice having that. First time you go up, you just kind of hope you have a fire source the first time you get there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem. And we're seeing Zelga head west here. So I think he is going to make that desert play even without having that fire source at this point.
Now, one thing to keep an eye on here, now he does not have the fire source like Will just mentioned. We do not have boots over on Zelga's side. That could become a factor given there could be an item on that torch. And Rambler, those are available to us. So there is that possibility of a double dip having to happen, or even, hopefully not, but a triple dip if, it's just like a piece of the puzzle or a breadcrumb trail item, so to speak.
Right. I mean, yeah, if it's just, Hammer sitting on torch there, Zelga is probably going to have to come back for that. And if he doesn't find fire on the way, then yeah, that triple dip of desert is certainly in play. But, we'll see when we get over there. We're definitely going to get that information on Zelga's side. But those Sphere 1 boots are kind of looming large over him right now, as from our perspectives.
Yeah, the Octorok there doing a nice job of dodging that bomb that Rambler threw at him. But got to be a little careful here. Down to 1 heart, does pick up the 1. An unfortunate touch there, or a fall into that pit would have been a death. And Mini Moldorm Cave is not the best place to do that, unfortunately, but does make it through. Gonna get his 2 keys in here as well.
It's claimed me as a victim more times than I even possibly want to admit on stream, but good job by Rambler there to stay under control, and then he gets the heart refill in the back, so never worried.
Yeah, if you ever play Spoiler, you've died in there at least 5 times. But Zelga making his way over, we're going to see what that desert... Oh, there's our fire source! It's literally on the desert ledge!
Okay, good news, we're not triple dipping desert today, no matter what. No matter what happens here. Yeah. Meanwhile, we're going to see Ice Rod Cave here. Zelga kind of abandoned this at the end of his route. Just 3 bombs there.
Yeah, nothing of too much importance, but yeah, going to desert this early, I wouldn't say it's a gamble per se, but knowing you might be leaving a fire source somewhere, it is on your mind as we see the Titans mitts
Hey, what do you
show
know?
up to the party.
Desert was telling the truth with those keys. Yeah, and I mean, well, that's that's not bad either.
We'll take those. We take those every time. Anything to lighten the load of things you need.
It's my most missed item from doing all the tourney qualifiers this year. I loved my half magic, and gosh, I missed it.
Didn't we all? $10 just in that the map chest of desert. This is kind of a little bit of a moment of truth for Zelga on if he'll have to come back. It is a map, so that'll be potential information. It could be one of those amazing maps like the Hyrule Castle or Ganon's Tower map that do absolutely nothing for us. But Zelga gonna be all right to beat this dungeon if he so chooses right now.
Yeah, and both runners have already left one map sitting out in the open at race game, so there's potential gaps in the information here either way. Rambler set up a water walk there coming out of Ice Shard Cave, and then did a fake flipper up to Hobo, and then is now using that water walk here. Gets the pod big key there out of Waterfall Ferry, and then we see another big key sitting there on the ledge. Not choosing, even though we have the bow, to attempt a splash delete there. So, if Zelga gets over there, probably not going to get over there anytime soon now that he has Moon Pearl and Dark World access, or Mitts and Dark World access. But, whenever he does that, that's probably going to be something he gets in one trip.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. We know that those two keys are flipper locked. That's basically all we know at this point, but we did know one we know one's a pod key. That's always nice. Sometimes some of us struggle finding the pod key, and so having it early is always a blessing.
Yeah, and Rambler now getting his book out of the back of Escape. We'll see if he takes that just straight to Desert here, or if he has other plans in mind.
Besides sequence breaking the mountain, I think Rambler is in the situation of it's either desert or go to Eastern. Yeah, and he is looking to be going to the desert area, and this makes sense. You've already gone to Saha and kind of, I'm not going to say written off Eastern Palace, but you've decided you don't want to dive that early game. So this is a really good play from him.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, again, it kind of comes down to reading what you're getting from the seed. If you get a Sphere 1 Desert Palace big and a small key, and then you get that book showing up there right there behind gloves, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna come here immediately.
Well, we got the enhanced bow landmos from Zelga, and he was rewarded with a crystal as well as a pod small. There's a lot of those in this game, so it's always nice to have some of those early, I'd say, right, Will?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have. You certainly want at least one of them before you even think about heading over there. Probably looking at ideally, given how much of the Dark World's now open to us, you're probably looking at ideally 3 or 4 there, so you can get most of the items out of there, if not all of them. Rambler picks up his mitts there, and we'll see him dash to the back and get his half magic here as well.
So yeah, this is kind of good for Zelga, I think, or rather, I'm sorry, for Rambler, as he does have those boots, because with this Dark World access, I'm kind of thinking Zelga's gonna use this opportunity to head up the mountain, maybe sequence break that. There's quite a few checks up there for him, with his mitts.
Right. Yeah. Between Hookshot and Pearl and mitts, you've got almost all of the overworld checks, and he's got book there to check Ether Tablet even. Oh, actually, we don't have a way to Hera area yet, but still you feel like you're gonna find something up there, whether it's a hammer or a mirror. Up there.
And I'm totally an idiot because I said sequence break, and we have a lamp. There's no sequence breaking going on here. We're following logic. Zelga's doing the right thing.
No, he's got his eyes closed. He's breaking the logic here.
I mean, if sometimes you could do that room with your eyes closed. It's pretty easy most days. But does get a compass for Thieves Town off of the old man. He's gonna take his rest and prepare us. He might be giving Zelga a health refill a little. Oh, dodging the cabbage.
Oh no! And speaking of dodging, Rambler accidentally went a little too fast there, off the ledge or coming out of the exit of
Oh
Desert Palace,
no.
with the hook speed, and now we're reopening Desert Palace.
Well, there is
So
a Cane of Samaria on top of Spec Rock today. That's probably a required item, all things considered.
I'm thinking probably so.
So we're gonna have to get a mirror to be getting that. Zelka doing a good job of dodging the things as he jumps down with only one heart. Rambler going to be headed outside again. Take 2. Hopefully going to be able to grab the lamp this time.
No hook speed this time. I'm not surprised. Does get the lamp now.
It's such a risky strat. I mean, it feels so good when you pull it off. And then the one time you don't, it does weigh on your mind a little bit. Hopefully Rambler can shake that off and continue to play well.
He's a pretty steady guy from what I've seen of his streams before, so I think he'll be able to shake that off and not get too flustered by one execution thing, even though it is a bit of a time loss.
And we did see a medallion. Looks like it was Bombos for Zelga inside Paradox. We've got 2 checks done. We've got 5 more to go in this area. We got a heart piece, a heart container. Those are kind of valuable. A key to Ganon's tower. Nice to get those early. Another small key to Pod, and there's our mirror. So I guess we're getting Arcane soon.
Yeah, I guess so. That would seem like a good route here. So looks like sequence breaking the mountain with the lamp there was really the play.
Yeah. All right, so there's a Rambler's pod key. Very good Landmo fight. And we'll see
you
what
signed
he
up for
decides
this.
I did. I deserved that, Will. Thank you. So unfortunately for Zelga, going to have to take the long way in Spiral Cave. The short way is you find the boots first before doing this, but he doesn't know of their existence. Therefore, he is going to have to walk it out.
Yeah, never feels good. Never.
Well, if you get progression, like those 3 bombs were not progression, it would have felt good, but it's all right. This kind of works out. He's got mitts. He's going to be able to head up into the Dark World and route in Super Bunny as well. We'll see where Rambler decides to go next. Having, finished up Desert, he is starting at the Sanctuary. This might be a King's Tomb play.
Yep, we're going to start at King's Tomb. It'll be interesting to see if he chooses to follow Zelga up the mountain here, or if he maybe goes straight into Village of Outcasts and goes through the Dark World that way.
Yeah, and see, that's kind of what I thought Zelga may do, but, I was operating under weird circumstances of not knowing a lamp existed, even though we just saw it. But there's $20 as well as a small key to GT in Super Bunny Cave.
And one thing that we can kind of, think about, obviously it doesn't have any bearing on, say, like some of the overworld checks there in Village, but we've not really gotten anything for Skull Woods yet. We don't have any of the keys. We don't have a fire rod. We haven't gotten either of our Thieves Town keys yet. We don't have a hammer. There's nothing pointing us to those dungeons over there in the village area at this point. So I think the play to come up here in the mountain is right for both Rambler and for Zelga, given kind of what we know so far.
Yeah, there's a lot of items. That's how I look at it. I like that you're playing the 4D chess the way you're supposed to play Key Sanity, thinking about which keys you do have in your pocket for even those dungeons where, a lot of runners will say, I don't have a lot of keys, but I can do them, so I'll do them. But, it does have some implications.
Right. It's just, it's kind of like it reading the logic to whatever extent that is, playing with a Ouija board or whatever. It is kind of a thing where if you get, certain items in Sphere 1, they're probably going to lead to something later on. And so you
For sure.
You just keep an eye on that sort of thing.
All right, so Rambler gonna get his information, seeing that Kane, thinking, "Where's my mirror?" Not knowing it's lurking just on the other side. Meanwhile, Zelga giving us a check of the ether tablet. Just some arrows. Don't need those today. We'll never see Zelga coming back here. If we do, I'll have questions for him in the post-race interview.
Dude, you've never been stranded in Mimics 1 with no arrows and then suddenly remembered that there's 10 arrows on Mimic Game?
You know, that is a really good strat if you do run out, but hopefully neither runner has to deal with that today.
With silver arrows, I don't think we're seeing that.
You never know, but I hope not. Zelga gonna give us the dive into Tower of Hera. Meanwhile, Rambler picking up his Bombos medallion. There's another pod key, so that's gonna bring our total up to 3 across all runners.
All right, and in the map chest, we have another small key. This one to Skull Woods.
Speaking of pod, that was our green pendant. Lady Lauralinda keeping us honest here, showing that on Rambler's side there. I do remember him checking Sahasrara and talking to the man, and the man telling him where that green pendant is.
I was just so excited for 6-minute boots that I forgot about everything else that happened before it. So that's why we have quality trackers here to keep people like me, informed of what's happening here.
Yeah, absolutely. Zelga gonna go ahead and give us, or giving us rather, the basement. Meanwhile, Rambler does have his mirror now, and you can see what we meant earlier. This is the short way through Spiral Cave. The name spaced out for a little bit. I couldn't remember.
You know, that happened to Days when I calmed with him a couple nights ago, and I think we're calling it the Swiss Roll Cave now.
That's tasty. I like it.
By the way, Zelga there, getting an actual payout from Hera Basement. What kind of world are we living in? Finds a Master Sword down there. That'll pay nice benefits immediately here, starting with this Moldorm fight that he's going to do after doing the Hera pot up here to the upper floors. Hera pot, of course, skips the need for the big key of Hera to climb up to the top here and check the compass chest and, of course, battle Moldorm. So he's going to get this dungeon done once he's done failing bumper skip. And
yeah, this is like one of the trade-offs you see a lot in key sanity, or any key sanity mode rather, is runners will risk having to come back here with the use of Herapot. And it's risky sometimes, and sometimes it's not. And we're going to find out together if it's a risky thing to do today. But Zelga dropping in 2 Moldorm, just needs 3 spins. Thankfully, we have a Master Sword that can spin and do Tempered Sword damage. Just needs 1 more. The Ghost Sprite not being too nice to him. I gotta applaud Zelga being able to use multiple sprites as we see him take down Moldorm there. When they're all different shapes and sizes, it's really hard to know the hitboxes of everything, right?
I settled on my 1 sprite years ago, and I'm never changing off of it. We get a pendant there from Hera. So to answer the earlier question, we know that Samaria is going to be required.
Yes, it is indeed.
And so now with the green pendant knowledge that we have from Rambler's side, checking Saha early, we know 2 of our pendants already. Kind of an interesting thing to keep an eye on there.
Yeah, we almost have full dungeon knowledge. We're close. Now, we have it. Zelga and Rambler, neither one have it, just because of, Rambler hasn't finished Hera, and Zelga hasn't gone to Eastern area. So this is probably the play to the village of the Outcasts on Zelga's side. So this is honestly, this is really good for Rambler. Just because this is going to lead Zelga away from those boots for a decent bit. I'm sure he's going to do a full route maybe over to the pod area, but you never know how you're going to route it. It's always tough to get to pod without a hammer. Right,
yeah, and then, depending on how late that hammer chooses to show, how long, there's a lot of different ways you can end up being late to pod in this mode, for sure.
Yeah, sometimes you have runners wanting to avoid pod at all costs without the hammer. Sometimes you want people to avoid it at all costs because it's a pendant. But then there's, it's all about what your preferences are.
Right. Even if you have that knowledge that it's a pendant, it's so many items. It's so many items in Key Sanity. You kind of know you're going to end up there at some point.
It's true. Now, Rambler fighting Moldorm with a fighter sword, not doing the basement just yet. Giving us the old NMG strats, the no major glitches speedrun strats. We do have boots, almost taking a fall there. Needs to be careful. We are in the enraged phase, so just one more fighter sword hit will bring him down. But this is always so stressful. You're on 3 hearts, and the pit is all around you, and Moldorm is just going bananas. But Rambler pulls it out. Very nicely done.
Yeah, and speaking of pulling things out, Zelga pulling the hammer out of the Skullwoods compass chest. So forget everything we just said about a late hammer. That's gonna, that's gonna definitely point at least to him as a, potentially clearable pod once he gets that big key out of Waterfall Ferry. Whenever he makes his way there.
Yeah, that'll be super, super nice.
And Rambler is going back in. He's going to do probably a little sigh here when he actually sees what it is, but still not going to complain about a Master Sword. He's just going to wish he had it, say, 30 seconds. 30 seconds ago.
I mean, when are you going to really do this, right? Like, there's not a right answer. Like, do you do it before you fight Moldorm? Do you do it after you fight Moldorm? Today the answer was before, but, the next 10 races you do, it's probably going to be after or never. So, just kind of, it's unfortunate, but Rambler didn't lose too much time there and survived that fight, so that's always good.
Yeah, the most important thing is, even though it was, took a little bit of time to get those last couple hits in, didn't fall, didn't die, at the end of the day, anyone you walk away from.
All right, so there's that Master Sword for Rambler. Gonna mirror out. I believe. Oh, he does need to go and get his cane.
Grab his Samaria, yeah.
I thought he did what Zelga did and got it like before. So I was wondering what he was gonna be doing next, but this is actually the smart play. If you don't have that cane, it's there.
Exactly. Now we're getting our first entrance here to the village. We'll start over at C-shaped house for Zelga. There's our 4th pod small key.
All right, Will, what's in pod?
Fire rod? I'm thinking fire rod.
It's possible.
Maybe
I feel like
maybe both.
I feel like there's at least one important item, even if it's a key. Just given the amount of pod progression. We know the flippers can't be behind the big key, but speaking of pod, there's another pod small. That's 5.
So, yeah, 5 keys is kind of the magic number, I think, for both of these runners. They're going to be well familiar with the infamous hammer jump from NMG to be able to save... Well, never mind. You don't even have to save keys anymore. I'm just done. There's pod 6.
This is the game, like, just writing a big sign and holding it out for these runners. Now, see, Zelga doesn't know it's a pendant. So...
Yeah. So... And now he's got that hammer in hand. The only thing he's missing is that pod big key.
I mean, the good news is that all 6 of them were not in the front of pod today. So it would be a little awkward in Key Sanity, but if that would have happened, it would have been really insane.
I would have retired.
All right, so with
I stole your
no, that's fine. With no big key. All right, so that's the big key to ice. I saw a big key as I was starting to talk about the Thieves Town big key and it not being in our pockets. I thought we were going to get it after the fact, but Zelga getting the ice big out of chest game.
That's a
So
clearable ice palace for us if we're willing to fake flipper to it.
I know a lot of people as we see Cape showing up. So now, like, do you go north? Do you go south? You know, do you check bumper ledge for that one item? Actually, he's already been up there, and I don't know if he actually peaked it.
I didn't see if he did. I know he did graveyard, so I expect he did, but I did not see what it was.
All right, maybe Rambler will help us out, and when he leaves Skull Woods here, he'll check it for us, and remind us of what we probably missed.
Yeah, chat suggesting it was a map, so yet another map that we're probably going to leave out in the wild forever. So, you know, if we have difficulty, we are getting this map from Race Game. I was wondering if Zelga would actually, you know, think about this being a kind of experienced cross keys player. You know, think about that mirroring in front of Race Game there. Get the map of Thieves, which is, you know, potentially relevant information for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's a smart play. I like it. Very heads up. We see that it is a crystal. We did also see that ice was a crystal as well as Swamp Palace.
I believe
speaking of maps,
as well. And there's. I didn't even see.
I saw a pendant. I saw a pendant.
Okay, pendant Mire.
We have our knowledge. Our pendants today are going to be Mire, Hera, and then the green over at Pod. So we just need to find our second 5/6 crystal. We do have Skull as one of two.
Yeah. And then I highly expect we'll get that information, at least from Zelga, if not both runners, coming back down when they make their way over to Hype Cave to stop off at the bomb shop and get that red crystal information. We're seeing Zelga kind of, you know, continue the route here. Makes perfect sense. With you have Mitts and Hammer and Mirror. You know, go down, get Race Game, then come back and follow through with the Smith Chain and Hammer Pegs. So we'll see him carry this route and probably take Purple Chest down as well on his way to Hype Cave and
yeah, it's just efficient. You know, it's smart. You want to do as many checks as you can. Meanwhile, Rambler going to be getting his Ice Palace big. It's always nice to have it like before you get to the dungeon, right? You know, it always feels bad when you get it right after you just sequence broke and beat ice.
Oh yeah, definitely. And there's another Turtle Rock small key there from the Smiths, which I believe is number 3 that we've seen across the two runners. And you know, it's kind of interesting. You know, we pointed out that, you know, Rambler was, or, you know, we've been talking about him less, I guess, because he's been, you know, just doing a lot of the same checks as Zelga, but Rambler really is making up clear time with those boots.
100%.
Being able to, you know, kind of make up time on these checks that Zelga was just doing a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, and that's not anything to, you know, take for granted. Like the only thing I think, you know, he did walk over to Saha, right? Like, you did have to do that. And he did do the long walk and then some dashing, I guess, to the Zora area. So those are not, especially in Zelga shoes without shoes of the boots variety, that is a very long amount of time. So Rambler making really good progress here. At least where we stand. I do see
a world here where, you know, unless we find the flippers here in one of the next probably 6 checks for Zelga, I would not be surprised at all if he just went straight to Pod here. 6 Pod small keys. I know you want to hold out for that big key, but man, that's screaming that progression is over there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's our Fire Rod. So, Smith Chain required today.
Yeah, and of course we're seeing Rambler right now getting his Turtle Rock small key from the Smiths, and then presumably he's going to do the exact same routing that we're seeing here on Zelga's side. Nothing there at Bombo's tablet for Zelga.
Something always tells me, like, whenever it's so easy to assume, like, you know, we needed that book to get into desert, and it led to a lot of fun and exciting items. So the tablets are probably junk, right? But you can't not check them in a situation like this. It's right there.
Yeah, and you know, that's kind of one of those things is like you sort of maybe when you're reading the logic again, you know, tarot card enthusiasts unite. Um, if you don't get any progression, say, you know, you check your flippers checks and you don't get anything from, you know, any of the Zora area checks, you know, you might start thinking, okay, well, maybe that means more likely that my Sphere 1 flippers point to something in, say, Swamp Palace or Ice Palace, you know, somewhere where they're logically meaningful.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, but then the trouble comes is what you're saying is when you get like clear progression off of the book early, what led you to Lamp and Mitts and you know, all those things. It doesn't mean the book can't be gaining other things too. So
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. So, I was about to say, what is Zelga doing? But
I think he's setting up a fake flipper here, so he's gonna try and do some of these water checks here. And
very nicely done.
And gets the information that he did not have previously, which was the.
Oh, this is the ice play.
Yeah, this is Ice Palace. Okay.
Okay, that
he gets
makes
the information on the flute on Hylia Island there that Rambler said for a while.
Also, I don't know if you saw this on Rambler's side. This is just a little bit of game knowledge, and it doesn't really mean anything, but he placed a cane block down on accident. And when he cast Bombos, like by utilizing the tablet with the book, it actually destroyed the block. I was today years old when I learned that's a thing, apparently.
I thought you were going to tell me he like accidentally, you know, magic refilled or something like that. That's
oh,
even
no.
more amazing.
No. It was useless game knowledge.
No, that's great. We're seeing Hype Cave here. Thieves Town small key, because I don't think there are any more pod small keys. I'm going to be worried if there are.
Yeah, yeah, it would be kind of awkward. But you know, Zelga did get this a little bit ago, but does get an ice small while he's in here. Very good icebreaker. Gonna blaze right on through.
Yep. And I don't think Zelga actually stopped to talk to the bomb shop, did he? Because we get the information that Turtle Rock is our other red crystal today, in addition to Skull Woods.
Yeah, Zelga did not. That could be maybe a calculated thing, just given that, you know, we know 2 pendants already, and he knows when he visits Saha, he can get the 3rd information. It's still kind of risky if you are worried about the 5-6. He does know one of them, I think, just not the other. Just a compass on the pyramid today for our free item.
Right, and Freezor chest just having bombs for us. Still gonna do this fun little bomb jump here. To get over here and spin that small key on the iced tea chest.
Every runner that sets that up on the bottom, it just scares me so much because I have no faith that it's going to work. I know it's going to work, but it scares me every time.
And it's a really weird bomb jump because it's like far more forgiving than than a lot of the other bomb jumps, which are, you know, pixel precise or close to it for some of them. That one has a lot of like leeway, but you have to you can't just like go in there and freehand it. You kind of have to have a system. And once you do, like, I don't know anyone that has the same system as anyone else, but...
Exactly. So Rambler is headed into pod, making use of the big key. He has sequence broke and all 6 keys. The big key to ice leading to only 10 arrows, so nothing of major value really showing up in ice just yet. We do have one more item to go, but as you were saying, we've got 14 crazy amount of items inside of pod. We get to open every single pod door today, Will. I'm kind of excited about that.
It's crazy. We could even, it's just amazing. And we're going to get to do it as fast as possible, at least here on Rambler's side right now, because we have Boots and we have Mirror and we have, you know, we have Samaria for placing on the Switch. We got everything. We got the full package. So, of course, there's a green rupee behind that 6 small keys there in the big key chest.
Yeah, so we're a little early, obviously, into pod. 3 of 14 items collected, no progression just yet. But with all 6, and you just check the vanilla big key chest, and it has no progression. Are you suspicious of that green pendant or Helmasaur at this point?
I think, given the knowledge that Rambler has, I think it makes sense. I think if you're coming here to get all 15 items, get the 14 out of here, and get that that green pendant item immediately here.
Yeah. A very quick cold stare fight over on Zelga's side. Very nicely done. Gonna get another crystal to add to the collection, as well as a Meyer Small. We know all of that is flipper locked. Meanwhile, transitioning back to Rambler, we did just get a shovel. So that is in full logic. He is gonna head on to the back. We are gonna go ahead and fight Helmasaur now.
Yeah, and if you're like I said, you're coming here to full clear, I feel like, in his position especially. And this is as good a route as any. Just go ahead and get those front 4 or 5 checks done. Go through the right side. You're right here. Go through it, and then you can come back through. We don't care about key usage today at all. So
yeah, for sure. All right, so Zelga he had a little interesting splash delete fake flipper there. He got hit by a fireball, but does manage to keep it together, and is going to get his pod big before heading there. So he'll have that information. So here's the little bit of divergence as far as like resources we have. He is going to be able to check Zora. He also might go ahead and attempt the splash delete here.
He's not shy about it. He's already done it, twice, to get into Ice Palace and then to get back over here. So I thoroughly expect him to get that big key there and give us the information on what else is locked behind the flippers today.
Yeah, and it could be very telling. You never know. So, Rambler headed in to the dreaded Helmasaur King. We are pretty much on the vanilla equipment for this fight. We do have a hammer. We do have a Master Sword. Zora has a blue mail over on Zelga's side. That's a nice thing to have. Probably would have been nice for Cold Stare as a safety in front of you. But 17 hits, we have taken down the Mask of Helmasaur and the Silver Arrow. Just the cherry on top to finish the fight. Very nicely done.
Yeah, and Zelga cleanly gets that splash delete there at the Zora ledge. So we will see what we have here. It is the big key of Misery Mire. So we're still flippers away from even getting into Mire as well. But that is one little thing that maybe Rambler, whenever he goes back for that flute on Hylia Island, maybe that's when he goes back and gets that big key there, and doesn't really cause any change in the race.
Yeah. So Zelga at the 46-minute mark is headed to the eastern area. Will he head to Saha first, or will we just go straight? Nope, we're going straight into Dark World. We have a mirror though, so it's just a slightly delayed, and it makes sense. This is efficient for him.
Yeah, definitely. This is. At this point, memes or not, you can't put off this whole area any longer. Especially now that you have a full clearable pod that he doesn't even know is a pendant, and
yeah. So just a whole lot of nothing so far in pod. I haven't seen anything of major value.
Not been anything. Got that shovel, and we got the green pendant still, and of course Dark Maze. There's
all right. We had to say something. It's Skullwoods. I mean, you have Fire Rod now, so you have some incentive to go back there. We only have one Skullwood Small, so logically, math is hard. Something about 2 or 3. Yeah, at this point, you go back at some point, but this is going to be Zelga's knowledge of pod being a green pendant, and he's going to get his boots as well.
There's a big key we actually care about. We got the big key to Thieves Town behind 6 small keys here in pod.
Yeah, we do, as well as a small key to Skullwood. So, logic schmogic, but it's kind of coming into play a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Just bombs in the big chest there. So we got a couple fetch quests. We got a Thieves Town big key. That's fully clearable now. We've got, and we are going to see Rambler head into Eastern here. I was wondering if he would make this play or not. 4 items accessible here without the big key. If he finds something here, that could be pretty big for his chances in this race, I honestly got to say.
Yeah, those who may know, like, I know Zelga does not like to, most times, enter Eastern Palace without a big key and a bow. It varies. You know, we've done so much. I honestly could say I'm probably not going to be too shocked if Zelga makes the play as well. But this is definitely something to keep an eye on here if something major pops up in Eastern.
My gut says that Zelga's gonna, once he finishes up his pod clear here, I think we're gonna see Green Pendant from him and he's gonna get out of town. He's got a full clearable Thieves, he's got a full clearable Skull after this. Once he's completed pod, I think he's gonna go back to Village and start wrapping some of that stuff up.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. All right, so 2 items done in Eastern over on Rambler's side, and 2 items of basically nothing.
And I think maybe another thing that might weigh in Zelga's mind is, maybe Rambler, if he came over here and got those boots early, maybe he went ahead and did an Eastern dipped early, and in which case, me getting these boots so late here, if that's the case, then I'm just behind regardless. So he may be thinking, that may weigh in his mind too, as a little bit of metagaming there against his opponent.
Yeah, it's very possible. So there's the skull big for Zelga. We did see another skull small on Rambler's side, so that is all 3. It was pretty quick that we got those last 2. So
yeah, we were just talking about how we only had 1 key, and then poof, it's
suddenly all of them.
Yeah. We'll see
right, so
what's in the big key chest of Eastern here.
Yeah, this is kind of the tale of potentially how this is going to go, but it's a bottle.
That is
so
our first bottle.
That's true. The sick kid, lazy kid, could have something for us today.
Now we're going to get that green pendant turn in. So was that green pendant worth it? It was worth $100.
I mean, that's like $100. It's just unfortunately not one of the items you need at this stage to complete the game.
No, it's not really gonna help a lot, but it's great. Thanks.
Yeah, so let's take a little bit of stock here on things we need. We know we need flippers. We kind of have all of our big keys except for the Eastern Palace big. We're gonna need that. We know that GT big is in GT today. We're also going to need that ice rod for Turtle Rock, but we can get in there. So there's a lot of TR checks, and they're pretty much available to us.
Yeah, TR is a scary option there, as Rambler gives us the first of our checks from pod there with that shovel that Zelga's getting. Only going to be another Ice Palace small key, so not going to, may help him slightly with the routing there, but not going to, impact that value of pod at all.
Finally does get that spin speed and gonna head back into the Kakariko area. All right, so we're gonna cash in on this bottle. We're gonna see if this is of any value to us. Waking the kid up. The kid has Piece of Heart, so no progression on our friend today.
But still not going to complain about a free bottle with a blue potion in it on Rambler's side.
Oh yeah, for sure. All things considered, we are sitting at 8 hearts. It's not terrible. It's also not the most comfy, depending on how you feel. Blue mail certainly does help out with that.
And like I said, we're not going to see Rambler forget about that big key at Zora area. He's going to be back for that at some point when flippers show up in the seed.
Right.
So,
I was kind of hoping he would.
As well.
I was really hoping Rambler would check that big chest before back here. I just I can't think Maybe he's intending to come back out. I don't believe Rambler
I
has checked Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, that's probably what the plan is here.
Actually, this is actually pretty smart. He might be potentially setting up as we see Zelga taking down Helma, he may be setting up a water walk to go get that flute.
Ooh, that is a smart call. We have a small little key to Vitreous on pedestal today, so that does things with the logic there for Meyer, already known to be a pendant.
Is that legal? I mean, can we do that? We can. We totally can.
Yeah, we got a vortex in chat to sort it out for us.
No, I knew.
Small key.
I knew it was 0 keys. It's just always funny if you see a key to a pendant dungeon on Ped, because for a moment, especially if you've got any tournament nerves, you're kind of like, wait a minute, what?
You know, that actually may be relevant information if you're looking to cut off some time, you know, later in the seed and you're going into Mire. Those small keys over there on the left side might be looking less appealing being completely behind Ped.
For sure. Alright, so Zelga getting his King's Tomb Heart piece. Gonna be thankful for that. Meanwhile, Rambler dropping in to the Moth fight. Does have a Master Sword on 4 hearts, but has a full magic meter down to 2. Gonna have to be a little careful here. He does have that blue goo. I think maybe we want to pop that. Yeah, it's time to pop it.
That's a good time for that.
Time to crack open a cold one.
Now we're gonna pull out the hammer here, which is always a fun fight, but we're gonna finish him off with the Master Sword, take down the Mothula, and get 3 times the reward that we got for the green pendant there. We're also gonna get a crystal, so
we need those.
Yeah, we do. That brings Rambler up to 2, matching Zelga's 2 that he has as well.
Alright, so I'm pretty sure Zelga, as you predicted, did not go into Eastern. So unfortunately, that was probably, I don't know, all the time gain Rambler had from those boots may be squandered at that point, just due to, you know, Zelga skipping that at this stage.
Right. I mean, depending on whether we're, you know, hitting Eastern and Go mode, you know, Rambler might make up a little bit of that time back with Zelga having to check some of the out-of-the-way checks, but yeah, not getting any value out of that does hurt, you know, position-wise a little bit. And just a piece of heart there from the Skullwood's big chest. And does not look like, at least at this moment, we're setting up that water walk that we talked about coming out of Skullwoods.
I know there's a way to do it. Yeah, he's not. He's going back to the Thieves area, which this makes sense because, you know, as Zelga is in there, we do have a fully logical, clearable crystal dungeon, so we might as well do it. You know, you don't really want to go to Mire area because it's a pendant, right? So
and we've already cleared desert. You know, there's not. You know, we've already have a ton of stuff behind the flippers today with the big keys and the flute. So yeah, you know, maybe just there's a whole swamp palace to clear with those flippers as well. So maybe just wait till those show up.
Yeah, they will eventually. All right, so both runners kind of converging here. This is a good time to remind you guys if you are enjoying the race, these guys do play this quite a bit. Be sure to give them a follow for their valiant efforts in this tournament.
Yeah, definitely. Both these guys are very, very entertaining follows, even though I think they're both too modest to accept that compliment. So we are getting a boomerang this seed, so that's good. That's good news for our runners.
We finally got one.
I mean, we could have always gone back to library, but...
Oh, there's our ice rod. So the Thieves Town small key, really good to have before coming to Thieves Town today.
yes, definitely. That would have been, well, not a fun time for our runners if that had, shown up in a different order.
All right, a little mini high five saying how you doing in the same room. Zelga heading to the blind fight. Rambler in tow, going to be getting that ice rod here in just a moment. This fight over on Zelga's side, we always say this, but it is a scripted fight if done properly. Zelga, through the first phase, there are 3 phases. Just have to get 3 hits on each one. It's a lot of 3s, I know, but it ends up being 9, I promise. Being a very important number. Does it very well, and down goes blind.
I had to check that on my fingers, but I believe you are correct there. And we get a Quake as a reward from beating blind, as well as a 3rd crystal for zelgadissan.
Yeah, so we're sitting at, what, 3 to 2 on crystals?
3 to 3 here once Rambler finishes his fight.
Yeah, it's and then Zelga's going for his 4th. Like he's operating under what a lot of runners say, like ABCD, always be clearing dungeons or something like that. So we'll see what these guys are going to do next. Man, Will, where are the flippers?
I do not know. We've got, TR is looking like a spicy option.
There's catfish. That's all by its lonesome.
And then if we want to talk about gross stuff, I was trying to avoid it, but if we want to talk about gross stuff, there's there's catfish, there's Spike Cave. Oh gosh, what else have we left out there in the world?
Honestly, we've done a very good job of kind of clearing everything out. So, I think they've done most of everything. Not all of it, but they've done most of it.
Yeah. I actually don't. With having early Mitts and Mirror and everything else, I don't think there's a whole lot we've left orphaned out there.
All right, Zelga getting his Mire Small.
Yep, and Rambler making his way over here to Graveyard Ledge, which we saw on Zelga's side a little bit earlier.
All right, so 3 bombs just in that Graveyard Ledge. I could not remember what was there. I knew it wasn't super important.
Yeah.
But Zelga dropping in does have a little more health. Can maybe be a little more aggressive on this fight with that hammer. That hammer hitbox always very small, but kind of making use of both things. And this fight gets so chaotic, but does a nice job.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out over there is that Rambler left his portal up there on top of Graveyard Ledge instead of coming over here to Catfish, which I'm surprised by. Looks like we're going to stock up on potions after using the one in the Mothiel fight earlier. Okay, so that's all we came over here for. Okay.
This feels kind of like maybe a preparation for an out of... I'm wrong. No, I guess we're going to Turtle Rock. Will, I thought we were going to maybe with that potion get a play into ice.
Yeah. I think maybe he's thinking, if I can just do ice and logic, I can pick up the flute there right there with it. And he's probably thinking at this point as well that flippers are a lot more likely to show up now up here on the mountain somewhere, it feels like.
All right, so this is the tale of divergence yet again. Zelga headed over to the eastern Death Mountain area. We're going to get a check of Spike Cave. We did bring this up not too terribly long ago.
Getting down to 1 heart, putting that cape on, coasting through with half magic. $300.
Yeah, this is kind of unfortunate right now, just for Rambler, because everything that he has done has been, ever so slightly out of the way, so to speak, has just unfortunately been not progression, and you would think with as many keys as there are out there, as well as, progression, like Y items, that something has to show up at some point on some of those, but just hasn't panned out so far.
Right, and I think he's making, good strategic plays. Trying to find places where he can get some progression up on Zelga that, maybe, being a different kind of thorough, he might feel like, hey, I can do this Eastern Palace dip, and if I find something here, I might feel like I have an advantage with that item. And just, hasn't gotten dividends from that just due to how the seeds played out.
Yeah, and that's, way she goes sometimes, unfortunately.
That is,
but
as they say, rando.
yeah, I mean, we're talking like it's end of the world. It's really not. This race is far from over. Zelga giving us our first checks into TR, but Rambler right behind him.
And we get an arrow and a GT map, so that really could not have been a worse roller room.
Yeah, fully skippable if you ever so choose to do so.
Yep. And now we will see the compass chest from Zelga for check number 3 here, as Rambler enters. All right. So we've reconfirmed that TR is still a crystal.
It is. We have that nice little indicator that has appeared beside the magic bar, the nice big C. I do appreciate that from the devs. It's a nice quality of life addition to the game.
Yep. And I don't even have to know that the X button exists anymore. I love it.
So there's a first bottle for Zelga. It's our second between the two runners at Chain Chomps. Rambler is going to obviously come across that, so he'll have a green goo in his pocket as well.
Yep, and obviously with half magic, it's not already kind of not a big concern, but now he can really just, we'll see him go ham with that fire rod up in GT climb, I hope.
Yeah, you have to be a little careful with that just because of like enemy burn time, so to speak. Sometimes that can be a little slower. It's faster most times. Zelga gonna have to be a little careful here. Down to 2.5 hearts. But sometimes that, like I was saying, that burn time can be problematic. Down to just 1.5 hearts. So get us to the midway point door of this dungeon as quickly as possible, please.
Yeah, just watch the rebounds here on the pokies, Zelga. Just be careful. Hit him clean, hit him straight, or get him to just line up there in the RNG or the NMG like God pattern. Gets through there safely. I was never worried. And now we'll head outside and check Mimic Cave and at least get a save and quit, or get a restart point here should tragedy befall.
Yeah, we just got to get back inside. Mimic Cave should be fine,
Should be. Zelga's a pretty good runner. I think he can handle it.
It does a good job in there. Not taking a single-hearted damage. Does get a small key to Hyrule Castle. Everyone can put their mind at ease. Ooh, Rambler taking a hit down to 1 heart. Another gonna have to be... Does go ahead and decide to use the blue goo. Taking no chances today.
And that is honestly like a good, like smart strategy, because I am one of those people who like tries to get overconfident and like, oh yeah, I can definitely wander around these anti-fairies with 1 heart. Ha ha ha! I'm dead. So just drink the potion. Don't be a hero. Just drink the potion.
Yeah, there's a lot of spots in the game where it's just better to go ahead and do it. So here's something to keep an eye on. Zelga has taken a death warp. That could be for health. I don't think that's something he would potentially do, but maybe this could be something to save scum keys, but I don't think he would do that.
Doing this before... Yeah, no. Yeah, we've got the big key. No, we've got big key, we've got ice ride. We're going to fight Trinex. That's not a...
Yeah, like... It's probably just a health refill thing.
Yeah, it was just a health refill, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's any other benefit. We're not coming back for Lava Chest unless we find that 4th key, and even then it's a little questionable.
I mean, if you find the 4th key, you have to mirror, right? You have to check it. You can't skip that chest. It's logical.
I think this actually came up in a race I was watching the other day, and I think I agreed with Koi, who was on comms at the time, and he said, I think it's faster rather than mirroring to check it and then coming back through to kill Trinex, just kill Trinex and then go back through the front. And yeah, that's that fourth TR small. They're just chilling on Laser Bridge. So,
well, there it is. And there's our big key to swamp, so that'll be fully clearable whenever we need to get in there. But at this point, it kind of looks like... I mean, maybe the EP big key is locked behind Flippers, but, you know... Flippers could be go mode.
Yeah, no, it's very true. Yeah, we'll see where they show up. They have to be somewhere, just given how much of the seed is behind them.
Oh yeah, there was so much that like opened up very early as we see Zelga doing some backdoor hammer strats on Trinex in these first couple phases. It really is. It's also dangerous, but Zelga pulling it off so far. Did not get the 5th hit, so gonna potentially keep all that blue nasty stuff off the floor. We reserve that for the McBall shuffle seeds in Ganon's tower.
When has that ever happened other than every other race? Now we're getting creative here. We're gonna cast Bombos on the Firehead.
I agree, Zelga. Let it all out.
Shockingly, not to great effect there, but the Ice Rod there. Ice Rod does a much better job freezing it, and now we are on to phase 2.
I mean, if that head would have died with Bombos, I would have been alerting the Racing Council to see what happened at that point, so we could maybe find out if there's a way to utilize that and skip Ice Rod. But joking aside, Zelga has finished off Trinex, got another crystal. We'll see if he decides to go back in. Like you were saying, there's not a whole lot left for him, though.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out here, Rambler heading into his Trinex fight, but he's coming in on 3 hearts. He had a little bit of a time there on getting through Laser Bridge, and yeah, on Green Mail, this is basically a no-co fight for him.
Indeed it is, and the other thing to keep in mind, I don't think he took the safety door. I hope genuinely he gets through this fight no issue. But this is going to be a costly death.
There, right there, trying to get that last hit on the Firehead.
All right, Rambler, you're scaring me, but we're gonna be all right. We're gonna get through this together. Chat believes in you. I believe in you.
He's doing a good job of reading the tail there to know when that neck is attacking him. And I think, yeah, there we go. We got that second head down there. So as long as he keeps it clean here on phase 2, which still not free with Master Sword by any stretch, but
I mean, if you're gonna get hit by Trinex in this situation, get hit by anything except his head, because of the damage difference here. But
there we go. Good job.
All right, clutching it out, nicely done.
And that segues nicely into Zelga, who is just arriving at the big key chest. Aptly named because there is the big key of Eastern Palace.
Oh my goodness. So I gotta think, all right, Flippers for go mode at this point.
Yeah.
Zelga may not be feeling so hot just because late boots. You did the pod play with the big key that was out of logic behind the Flippers that are now your go mode item. Rambler's probably in the same boat of worrying about that, or when he gets back in here to get that item, especially with the double dip. But we're going to see that this is good for Rambler just because all of that time he invested into Eastern, we're probably going to see Zelga be doing that really soon.
Yeah. And it's just going to be interesting to see where the heck those Flippers show up. Catfish is a spicy option. Boy, I'm trying to think. I don't think anything, as far as our TR or like our ability to full clear TR there, I don't think anything was locked behind the Flippers there, was it?
Don't think so.
Maybe we had something in Ice Palace that I've forgotten about, but I think we got most of those keys logically.
Well, both runners, had 3 keys. I don't think any of them were in Ice. Rambler has not visited Ice just yet. So.
Yep, that's a good point. Yep. And we did see, of course, Rambler come back in, get his Eastern Palace big key, and having already done Spike Cave, he is just saving and quitting out now.
Yeah, this is probably him making the exact same play Zelga has. So he is going to be a little ahead as far as this dungeon. But keep in mind, Zelga has full cleared ice.
Yeah, and that's going to be, if flippers show up on the way here through Eastern, then, Zelga just gets to go mow to Swamp and he's in GT, whereas Rambler still has, 2 dungeons to clear. I think he's really going to have to, I think it's good that he's holding off on Ice Palace here, for sure, because now,
yeah,
with
at this
what
point,
he
you
has,
have
everything
to.
in the game is behind flippers, and you expect those to, nothing,
Exact.
nothing can be in ice except for what, GT smalls or something.
For sure. We did get, I think, 1 there. So, and that wasn't, too big of a deal. We do have 2 and 3 with our runners respectively with Rambler and
Which is
Zelga.
enough to safely find the big key and get upstairs if you don't waste any keys. So
Yeah, as long as you don't do anything, reckless.
yeah.
All right, so Zelga
might be the only extra thing that we might see runners check for in this one.
Yeah, that would be one thing where Rambler's not going to potentially make up that much time in ice, like given Zelga did that full clear. It's a pretty fast full clear with Icebreaker these days, especially if you have all the keys and such. And when you're going to get that second key if you go in that first chest room with the pin gators.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point. Zelga getting his blue potion there out of the big key chest, as we see Rambler making his way to the back there, making up a little bit of ground by skipping this check, obviously.
All right, so Armos, a very easy fight. First boss of the vanilla game, and we've got silvers. So all of these are just going to be one shot, and kapow, they go down.
Yep, nice and easy, and nice vanilla heart container there, and another crystal that is Rambler's 5th, going to be presumably Zelga's 6th here very shortly.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, we're sitting here watching 2 screens. Obviously, there's a whole lot we've seen that Zelga hasn't and that Rambler hasn't. Obviously, Rambler knows he can't go get flippers in Ice Palace, but I do think we're going to see maybe a Pyramid Fairy into Catfish play. There's not a whole lot left. This is kind of where the seed's pointing us, I think.
I agree. I don't know that there's a whole lot left that makes any sense for either of these guys at this point than running that route up right now.
Yeah.
We did see Purple Chest earlier.
Yeah, that's where we got our Fire Rod today. Yeah, we got that decently early. It was nice and comfy. Had a mirror, had Dark World access, had the mitts. It was a fun time. But now our time is dragging this. Is it a big red bomb or is it a pink bomb, Will?
Well, first of all, I'm colorblind, so take everything here with several grains of salt. I always thought it was kind of like sort of peach colored there.
It is kind of, actually.
Yeah. Rambler doing a nice job there with the bomb dupe, kind of perfectly timing that screen transition. Didn't even have to do the extra back and forth there. But if you transition as it turns to 0 there, you can re-grab the bomb, and there are those flippers sitting in Pyramid Fairy. So that's go mode for Rambler there at 117, correct?
It is, and Zelga's not going to be too far behind. And then the difference here is going to be, the dungeons, as far as the crystal count difference.
Right, so Rambler has 1 extra dungeon to do here. He is on his way to it right this moment. And he's going to go Ice Palace first. Zelga going to get his flippers here. maybe hoping for a sword, but he's going to be saving and quitting and heading straight to swamp. I expect him to probably do just the really on the way checks there, looking for that tempered sword. Not really a whole lot else that would be super beneficial. Maybe powder be nice, but Zelga's still got that potion, so really the sword's the only thing that's going to speed us up at this point.
Yeah, all things considered, I mean, we're in a key sanity seed at 118. We're go mode. A lot of times you don't really see that. Usually they're a little longer.
Yeah, no, this one, almost all key sanity seeds tend to turn into like some kind of full clear mess at the end. This one was nice in that our full clear mess at least, was for flippers, which, because of sequence breaks, we were able to short circuit so much of that around the flippers on both sides. But also let us dodge that flute and mire area entirely. So that plus, early boots, at least on one side, plus, just mitts and mirror and early hammer, dark world access, all made it pretty efficient seed, all things considered.
Oh, definitely. Oh, there's a tempered sword. Okay, so Zelga's sitting in the driver's seat at this given point now. We're super comfy with a tempered sword, the silver arrows. He's got a blue mail. And Rambler's going to have that blue mail before too long here.
Is he?
I think it's on Cold Stare.
Oh, okay.
At least I
the
think
blue mail was on Zora, if I remember.
Oh
correctly.
no, yeah, you're right.
And he's not going to make it back over there because that's just the Mire big key on Zora Ledge. So, yeah, he's never going to see that unless the other mail shows up somewhere on the way. Still going to get a quick check here of the big chest for Rambler. I think doing the same thing that we're seeing on Zelga's side, looking for just a sword with some of the quick on the way checks. And yeah, Zelga's skipping everything else now. He's got his tempered. He's happy.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else Zelga would really, I don't know, desire to have. Gold sword, I guess, okay, like that would be, nice, but I think both of these guys, if they have tempered, and silvers especially, that's super comfy.
Yeah, no, you're gonna be. I think even on Rambler's side, 11, you got that second row of hearts. You got half magic. You should be plenty comfortable for a climb under those conditions. Making good use of that fire rod there, getting a couple double hits in with the splash damage. And takes down his Cold Stare as Zelga is entering his Argus fight. So Rambler basically just one Swamp Palace go mode away from, or one go mode behind Zelga rather.
Yeah. I think he will. I hope he checks that first chest. I want Rambler to get that tempered sword.
I was gonna say that's that first chest is probably less of a time commitment even than the Ice Palace big chest, and we just saw him check that. So I think he'll get that tempered sword as well. But yeah, 7 crystals for Zelga. There's a big key. There's a big key in GT. It opens the big key doors in GT. We're looking for it.
We need it.
Numbers. I
want it. I gotta have it. I love it. All of the above. But we do gotta find it. So, all right, Will, you've got 3 GT small keys. If you're Zelga, how do you want to route it?
Coming in with 3, I think you're, everyone's got their kind of favorite route. Some people stick to it all the time. Some people like to do and vary it up. I'm personally a fan of the Stalfo's first route. Get those 5 quick checks done. Get over to right side. Get those 6 checks done. Don't even have to really worry about the keys if you're Zelga doing that route coming into play at all. And then then you go full left, and then we do tile room. That's my kind of preferred route. But,
oh no, Rambler! No, dude!
Oh, dashing past that tempered sword. No.
Oh man, you hate to see it.
Yeah. I really hoped he wouldn't. I really didn't think he would skip that, just because, like I said, he was, still doing the checks and ice, and I thought he would just keep it up there. But that may be when he said, yeah.
There's still an opportunity in GT. Like, there's a lot of checks here. We've done most of the game, not all, obviously, but most of.
I'm just gonna laugh if that, if he finds the Force Sword in like Swamp Big Chest or in Diver Down Room. That would be.
You've got to check Swamp Big Chest here. I mean, I think
that would be justice, right? If we found that sword there.
All right, so Zelga entering GT at the 123 mark.
Anyway, I'm aware that coming in with keys, this route is the faster route, which is why Zelga, a smart person, is doing it.
Oh that's the Hera. We got tricked.
Everyone, get your baited emotes in chat.
The ghost was tricked.
Yeah, but that Hera big key not gonna unlock the doors here. But yeah, I was saying, this route is probably the fastest route to do when you come in with keys. I just hate killing those Stalfos in that stupid room. Man.
They're aggravating sometimes. All right, so a heart container in the waterfall fairy room. Or I'm sorry, that's not what that room is. The waterfall chest room. We do get powder over on Zelga's side in the compass room of GT. I think I know where things are in vanilla somehow, some way.
Rando world champion.
All right, so Rambler is coming into a Master Sword Argus fight. Gonna have to get these spins in or 2 slashes. We'll see how if he can get a couple, like maybe a 1 or 2 phase, phase 1 here.
Yeah, he's doing a good job just going with the hook and slash method. I kind of like that, actually, because I'm pretty bad at the spin method. And it's not in Stalfo's room either, so we're going to continue on to the left side here for Zelga, looking for that big key. Ooh, just missing with the timing on the silver arrows. Gets it there on the left side. And now Rambler has his 7th crystal as well, and is going to be making his way up to Ganon's tower just behind Zelga here, who is still on the hunt for that GT big key.
Yeah, so Rambler's really close behind. There's only a handful of things that could really swing the race one way or another, but Zelga getting bombs in that chest, I haven't been counting. I'm not going to count. Counting's hard. I can't even figure out what rooms are named.
14 coming up. 14, 15, 16, 17. Numbers.
Yeah. Numbers are hard. All right, so we got 4 checks in here. There's a small key to this dungeon, so it's going to be here. There it is.
Yep.
Big key to Ganon's tower. So some fun knowledge. If there is a small key in Rando room, as it were, or compass room, there's going to be a big key there as well. Pretty much guaranteed, even in key sanity modes, and we just saw how that kind of worked out. So it's nice to know. Zelga on his way up the tower.
That's right, and Rambler heading over here to his TR portal. He'll be entering GT on the hunt for that same big key as Zelga climbs. And of course, we do have the one difference between the two of them at this point. Zelga picking up that tempered sword there in the first chest of Swamp Palace is going to have at least a faster, first couple of phases of Ganon for sure, and probably help out on the climb as well.
It's the Rambler about 4 minutes behind. 123 to 127 range. Maybe I'm not sure what Rambler does. Maybe he goes left, and that's going to kind of make up a little bit of that time, just in case.
Yeah, it's tough to really see. tough to see a path that really kind of, you know, is a major way to claw back time in him that doesn't involve some sort of calamity. But, you know, it's Rando, baby. Getting 2 of the 3 Landmos on the first cycle there, and 0 of them on the second cycle. This time we're good and set up, though. We're through our Landmo 2 fight. Heading up the stairs again for Zelga.
Yeah, off to Wizrobes 1. Very easy room, and then Wizrobes 2. It's like these rooms were so hard, like if you in a Let's Play, but then you start playing competitive rando, and then they become second nature for these guys.
Yeah, definitely. You kind of just get this muscle memory down, especially at least until you have to do a climb without Samaria.
Oh, Rambler's mirroring out of. So we did hope. Okay, so we're going. I guess we're going compass room now.
Yeah, so we're gonna get what is that, like probably number 19 there from Rando room for the big key for Rambler with this route, which is unfortunate for him here, but. Zelga gonna make use of that powder that he got over there on the right side. Get his magic refill.
You might as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so Moldorm just hanging out in his room today. Zelga says, "Get out of my way. I need a chest. I'm gonna hook across." There's powder for Rambler as well. So Zelga is through Ganon's tower. Just has to make his way to the Aga 2 fight, which, you know, some days that fight's kind of annoying. We'll see how he does today.
Yeah, only on days ending in Y though, so. So you got a decent setup here for phase 1. Didn't, just got 2. Last one escaped away there.
Yeah, you want to get 3. That one was kind of annoying. He was gonna he got a double hit, but it only counts as 1. So we need 3 more. Obviously, at this point of the seed, this is when you're potentially sweating a little bit, thinking, all right, my opponent probably isn't too far behind, or maybe just slightly ahead of me. Just got to play my best, all that pressure. But does take down Aga 2. And now we've got a Ganon fight to attend to.
Yeah, so this should be a pretty quick fight for Zelga, having that Temper Sword happen silvers. I think he'll be looking to set up the 1-and-1 here through the first 2 phases. And Rambler about to get his GT big key and start his climb.
And there's the small key for Rambler. And there's his big key.
Yep. And Zelga doing a nice job. Gets through phase 1 there in 1 cycle, and looks like a nice clean setup there for phase 2. Even dodging through the fire bats there.
Into phase 3. And phase 4, we've got silvers. This shouldn't be too complicated. It has a nice opportunity to potentially get a triple. Doesn't because of the stutter, but does wrap it up with that 4th arrow hit. So, Ganon's exploding. Sword up in the air. Get your GGs in chat for zelgadissan. Going to be taking game 2 against NYRambler with an official race time of 1 hour 32 minutes and 23 seconds.
Yeah. And Rambler starting his gauntlet now. Congratulations to Zelga on winning more rando seeds in addition to this race. I'm sure he will treasure that opportunity to have even more fun with this game.
And we are joined by today's winner, zelgadissan. GG.
Hey, GG's. Thank you very much.
Well, this was a pretty fast key seed. Everything was kind of laid out for you guys. Luckily, a flipper style go mode. I have to ask because it was a little bit of a talking point very early on. How did you feel about the boots location today?
I felt very bad. I was actually just talking to Rambler in the race room. I felt like between getting those boots so late and then full clearing pod, which was behind my go mode flippers with that pod big and waterfall fairy.
Yeah.
Everything felt really bad right around the end, and I was kind of just hoping. I legitimately thought when I got my go mode flippers, I honestly was thinking I have to just hope that Rambler skipped the lava chest in TR. I really felt like that was my only out.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not a lot of skips on either side today, really. Just kind of came down to a little bit of efficiency. I think you getting, even though it ended up being an ice or a kind of a full clear for nothing, getting that ice palace play done early and in the routing that you did still was pretty efficient. Given that we obviously, neither you nor Rambler got flute in this seed to kind of speed up some of the routing or some of the travel in this seed.
Yeah, I did feel like you said, the ice palace clear was completely useless, and again behind those go mode flippers. But even then, it just felt like kind of efficient to get that information, just see what was in there, and it was just kind of along my natural route. So I did feel okay about that part. I wasn't super worried about it, honestly. It was really just the pod clear. I was feeling really bad. That, and I never actually checked what the 5-6 was. I just kind of assumed it was Desert and Turtle Rock, and I see it wasn't. So good times.
Well, you got
Skull
half
Woods.
of it.
Yeah, you were close, very close. I do want to ask, did the thought ever cross your mind? And maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Did you consider maybe doing like a water walk over to get that flute, as like a mobility item, or in case, obviously in hindsight there was nothing locked behind it, but just in case there was, did that ever cross your mind as far as like thinking about the logic?
It absolutely did. Again, with the flippers being one of the few things I was missing at the end. If I hadn't got the ice rod from Thieves, I was kind of expecting what would happen is the flippers are in Turtle Rock and then the ice rod's in Swamp. So what I was thinking is I'd just do Thieves, do Skull Woods, and then while I'm right there, set up a water walk and just go get the flute for efficiency. But then after getting the ice rod, everything kind of went out the window, and I just said I had to rush straight to Turtle Rock at that point.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, we were wondering kind of, if that that play would make sense either for you or for Rambler. Kind of, you both ended up over there at the same time, but I think, I think in the end that's the right decision. Obviously, Flute was not going to do anything but lead you astray, at least logic-wise, in this seed.
Yeah, I feel like efficiency-wise, we did pretty good. The only real double dips I did were Skull and Thieves, which, Skull was basically required with that hammer, and Thieves, you're just gonna do Thieves. So
yeah.
All in all, like in terms of a keys seed, I can't really complain too much about this one, just because it was, like I said, everything was kind of really efficient while you were going along. So, I felt like I was full clearing. I think I only had like 5 or 6 spots left when I got flippers, but it's still a 130 seed, just because everything just kind of worked in our favor.
Right. Yeah, the ability to sequence break so much that was behind the flippers, I think, made this, and then, making it your go mode, I think made this a fast one. We're seeing Rambler here. He does use that green potion. He is on phase 3 of his Ganon fight after getting through the much more difficult phase 1 and phase 2 than Zelga faced. But he is now just a spin to stun and then 4 silver arrows from victory. Get the first one there. I try and get a double, but not quite.
It's so hard. Like this part of this fight to me is so hard because when you're in that muscle memory, I think, and I'm kind of just speaking of my own my own experience, but when you're in that spin state, you want to spin after the fire bat, not before it.
Yeah, no,
Most
it's
times.
so easy to drift and start doing silverless spins. Get your GGs in chat for Rambler. Does get a nice double there to end that fight, and it's going to finish here at about 138. Just about 6 minutes behind Zelga here. GGs.
GG's. And Rambler has let us know he is going to pass on an interview, has some IRL things to take care of, but GG's to him. We want to wish him the best of luck with his upcoming matches in the rest of the groups.
Yeah, and just to shed a little light, there was kind of a discussion between the two runners in the post-race chat, and one of the things that Rambler was kind of wondering was, where did I lose, 6 minutes in this one? And I think, I don't know that there was, necessarily one thing we can point to. There was just a couple of, we talked about it kind of around the 1 hour mark or so. A lot of little. He would kind of make little side quests or do something a little extra, like, the dip into Eastern Palace after pod, hoping to find something to give him an advantage there, but those ended up just not paying out for him today. So
yeah, it just shows you like little things here and there, especially in a field as competitive as we have, in the randomizer community at this point. A lot of small things they add up. You could say, well, I lost 5 frames. Well, unfortunately, sometimes I know that's checks aren't that small, but it definitely can add up. So, Zelga, this is going to move you to, I believe, 2-1 for your group. Is that correct, or am I wrong there?
Yeah, that is correct. Someone else who will not be named decided to just completely wreck me in one race.
I bet it was Clear Mouse.
It could have been. I forgot who it was.
Yeah,
Clear Mouse, the unknown 5th entrant in Group AF, but and this is gonna drop Rambler to 0-3. Does have 3 more, not completely out of it yet. Can definitely bring it back to 50% and see how things shake out. Yeah, so
I think with how the math works out, there's going to be a lot of people either qualifying in that second spot or playing games with a 3-3 record this in this format. So yeah, there's still the window is not shut for Rambler by any means here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Zelga, you have any races coming up? I guess that would be a good time to let us know if you do. I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
I don't actually. I'm pretty sure I have literally the entire next week off. I'm probably got May 9th, I think, is going to be my next race. And then like the 10th, I think there's another one. So yeah, I'm just going to be sitting back watching all the drama unfold and see how the rest of the group shapes out, hopefully.
Indeed. Well, it's been a fun race. I like keys. I like when keys are fast, and I like when we get fun items at the start. You guys had a lot of fun items at the beginning of this race. Will, it's been a pleasure. I had a good time. Lady Laura Linda doing the tracking for us today. We greatly appreciate it.
Indeed,
would be
did a
really
fantastic
lost.
job.
Yeah, would be really lost in a key sanity seed without a tracker. More so than normal from regular races to, or open mode, I guess, or non-keys. That's the right word. But yeah, any final thoughts before we wrap things up here?
One thing, no real final thoughts about the seed. GG's to both of our runners, and again, thank you to all of our volunteers, including our restreamer who helped set us up here. We got one more race coming at you tonight with a restream. That'll be on SpeedGaming 3 coming up in about, I guess an hour and 20 minutes or so. That's going to be JJo36 versus Spleepy, who I know was hanging out in the chat here earlier. So that'll be on SpeedGaming 3, if I didn't just say that. Make sure you tune in for that one. It's going to be a fun one. And I think that's it for me.
And If you need something to tide you over, keeping it in the Speed Gaming family of networks, there is the No Kid Hungry Marathon going on at Speed Gaming Main right now, twitch.tv/speedgaming. So get comfy over there. That's a nice Kingdom Hearts 2 run going on.
that is the comfiest Saturday night run I've ever heard.
Yeah, that'll tide you over a little bit if you need something to get your next rando fix in the next hour. But yeah, a pleasure as always, Will. Zelga, GG's again. And I guess we'll see you guys at the next race.
Yeah, GG's. Thanks again, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Good night.